In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to manage your gradebook in Learning Zone. If you haven't seen the tutorial on SpeedGrader yet, you might want to check that tutorial out first. To manage your gradebook, first you're going to go to the Grades tab on the left. This will bring you to your gradebook view. You can see that this is a nice laid out horizontal view of all of your grades in the class. To add a grade, all you have to do is simply click on the cell, and you can add the grade right into the gradebook. Then you can click on the next cell, or you can just click Enter, and it'll go to the next cell below. You can also use the arrow keys to arrow around and enter in grades one by one. If you ever need to change a grade, for instance, John's grade here really should have been 35 points, you can just simply click in the cell and change the points. This also makes adding zeros very easily to your gradebook. So you can simply click in the cell, add your zeros, hit Enter, add your other zero, and you can add zeros in really quickly. We do suggest not waiting till the end of the semester to add your zeros. Try to keep up with adding the zeros from assignment to assignment, or maybe even every couple weeks, making sure that your gradebook's up to date. That way, at the end of the semester, the grades don't drop dramatically for students if you add all your zeros in at once. One other option that you can do in your gradebook is to excuse an assignment. You can do this by simply adding EX to the grades cell, and this will excuse the assignment, so this won't actually add any weight to the assignment for the student. So it doesn't act as a zero, it literally just takes the grade out of the gradebook for the student. And again, you just type in EX, and that will fill in the cell. One other nice thing about the gradebook is that you can drag and drop your columns. So if you want the Essay 1 to be at the front, you can just drag and drop your columns all around and change the order in your gradebook. Now we're going to talk about some more global options you can do for your gradebook. So if you go to the top right and click on the cog, you will see several options for your gradebook as a whole. The first option is to view your grading history. This tracks almost every change that you've done in your gradebook, and you can look at your grading history. You can hide the student names. So if we do this, all the students' names suddenly disappear. We can arrange your columns by assignment group. So when I click arranging the columns by assignment group, if you have your assignments set up in groups, say all of your exams are in a group, all of your quizzes are in a group, it will arrange the columns by those assignment groups. The more common option is to arrange your columns by due dates. This is another really good reason to set your due dates on your assignments, because now when you arrange your assignments by due date, all of your assignments will appear in chronological order as you go throughout the semester. We also have the option to treat ungraded items as zeros. Just be careful with this, because that means that students' grades will start out as a zero and they'll gradually work their way up. So we suggest being very careful with using this treat ungraded as zero. You also have the option to show concluded and show inactive enrollments. Essentially, this is if students have dropped the class or withdrawn from the class, or at the end of the semester when the class is complete, students will go into concluded and inactive status. So if you want to show those students that have appeared to have disappeared from your gradebook, you can click on the Show Concluded and Inactive Enrollments, and those students will then pop up in your gradebook. You also have this option to show a notes column, and this basically allows you to just take notes on individual students right here within the gradebook. Now we're going to talk about some options that you can set and look at on individual assignments. So if we go over to an assignment and hover over the column, so we hover over the column on Essay 1 in this instance, we can click on this little triangle here. When we click on this triangle, we have several options that appear to us that go with this assignment. So the first one is Assignment Details. This shows you a breakdown on some general statistics for this assignment. We also have an option where we can jump right into SpeedGrader for this assignment. We also have the option to message students who. This is a great tool. When we click on this, this will message the students who meet a certain condition. In this case, it's message the students who haven't been graded yet. So for some reason, maybe you got sick or something happened where you only graded some of the assignments. You can set this message students who haven't been graded yet, and you can send them a message, and this messages them directly to their course inbox. You also have the option to send the students who scored less than or scored more than. So let's go with message students who scored less than, let's say 40 out of 50 points. And you can see that the students who meet this condition will pop up, and then you can send them this message. Of course, the students won't know who else got this message. This will only send that message individually to each student. Let's get out of this menu here, and let's go back. We also have the option to set the default grade. So this basically will fill in any score that hasn't been graded yet. So this is a great way to fill in your zeros or to just set any other default grade. You also have the option to curve your grades and the option to mute an assignment. So what muting an assignment does is allows you to grade the assignments, but those grades won't officially post to the gradebook until you've unmuted the assignment. So as you're going through, students won't know their grade until you've unmuted that assignment. The last item I'm going to talk about is the individual view. If you go to the top right and click Individual View, this will give you just a different view of your gradebook. It's less visual of a view, and at the bottom you can go and look at individual students and their grades for the class and look at the individual assignments. It still shows the same data from your gradebook. It's just a less visual appealing look. So if you ever get to the individual view, if you just scroll back up to the top, at the top left you'll see this switch to the default gradebook. Click there and it'll take you back to this more visual view of the gradebook. If you do want to show just a single student their grade and you don't want to use the individual view, the easiest way really is to go up here and to filter by the student name. So if you want to only show Jane her gradebook, just type in Jane and you'll see that all of the other students will filter out, and so you can just show one student at a time what their grades are in the class in the traditional gradebook view. To get back to every student, just delete the filter and all of the other students will reappear into the gradebook. So then when you're done working with your gradebook and you want to get back to your course home, just simply go up to the top left, click your course name, and this will take you back to your course home. So as you can see, Learning Zone's gradebook is intuitive and makes managing your grades fast and easy.